Back in the 80s, I worked on a song cycle based on westerns. I saw, I don't know, 100 movies or something, and I picked the ones that really blew me away the most and tried to write songs based on them. And Clint Eastwood had done a movie called Pale Rider, and he was a Christ-like, meaning, you know, stranger out of nowhere who comes into a town and saves them from the bad guys and then goes off. And I saw a lot of analogies and metaphors in the movie to Christ, and Pale Rider was a dang good movie and really violent, of course, which we boys love. And I wrote a song called The Spirit of a Man, and when I wrote the song, I wrote it about Christ, but I kept it in the confines of the plot of the movie, and it became one of my favorite songs I'd ever written. And I wrote and recorded it for Leading Horses, I mean, I rewrote and recorded it for Leading Horses, and when we recorded it in its entirety, and it was really long. It was the only long song on the record, and I knew that I was going to add stuff at the end, which I'll talk about later. And so I decided to split it up into two songs. So we recorded it as one song, and it was really, really long, and I tried to live with it, but then I split it up. So Spirit of a Man Part 1 is the section of the song where Jesus comes into the world and the world rejects him and mocks him and says they have no need for him. The loop came from Susie and the Banshee song, and it sounds like someone's banging coconuts together. And it's funny because I count the coconuts when I performed it because they come in and they get louder and louder, and I know there's a kind of a noise it makes when it hits the peak volume of coconut, and that's when I start singing. And it took a long time to work it out live, but once I figured out where the coconuts were, I had a really great song live. It's so funny because the song's so serious and so intense, and I'm counting coconuts. Rock and roll, baby. I love the song. I love how it turned out. This whole record is a dream record for me. It recorded quickly. It went well. It turned out exactly as I expected. It was the most rehearsed I'd ever been with a record. I drove around for the better part of a year with the drum tracks in my car, learning the songs, and I still don't know the words. I still don't know the words to some of them. They were hard. There were a lot of words. I have a tendency to write with a lot of words in a sentence. I always did that, and then when Elvis Costello happened and I heard him, and I saw someone else did it and how cool it was, I knew I was right. And Ari Up from the Slits did that as well, and I always figured if you're going to serve someone something, serve them as much as you possibly can. Like, more is more, you know. And so Elvis Costello would put like 20 songs on a record, and I always want to put 20 songs on a record. I always try. Every record I've tried, it never turns out that way, but I always try it. But I make up for it. I put out a record almost every 9 months and just plop them out like babies. But I just figure if you can get people to listen to you, then you should give them as much as possible to chew on for a lifetime. And Spirit of the Man just really captures a moment in history where Jesus was just standing there, and he offered so much, and he was greeted with such suspicion and disrespect. And the next song on the record is, the record was made in 2008, and we're in 2010, and the next song is currently enjoying a wee bit of success in dance clubs. Praise God. Thank you everybody who did that. Thank you Chucky Star, I love you. Um, um, it's This World Is Not My Home, and another old spiritual, and it's funny because anybody who knows me knows that I'm an enormous Maria McKee fan and Lone Justice fan, and Lone Justice was Maria's band, and they did This World Is Not My Home very early in their career. It never really made it on one of their records, but it did show up on a compilation of unreleased stuff. And then Maria did it on her live acoustic tour record. And absolutely no disrespect to Maria and the band. The song was just never high on my favorite list. Not because of their rendition. Their rendition was flawless. Especially Lone Justice, their rendition cranked, but Maria's was so pretty. But I didn't want to crank and I didn't want to be pretty, but I loved the words to This World Is Not My Home, and I printed them off the internet and just sat with them and just said, this world is not my home, I'm just passing through. And I say, God, there's got to be a song in here. This world is not my home, I'm just passing through. And I was like, God, there's a song in here somewhere. I know, I gotta find it, I gotta find it, I gotta find it. And then I was listening to a record that had a big drum intro, and there was a drum going, and I'm going, this world is not my home, I'm just passing through. It's got to be a song in here somewhere. This world is not my home, I'm just passing through. And I was like, God help me. And all of a sudden I got from God, just say the next line. Just say the next line. Okay, this world is not my home, I'm just passing through. My treasures are laid up somewhere. And I went, there we go, there's a song in here somewhere. They just don't need me to sing it. They need me to say it. They need me to shout it. They need me to proclaim it. They don't need me to sing it. You know, it's like, the original version is like, this world is not my home, I'm just passing through. You know, and it's like sing-songy. And it's like, now it's an anthem. Now it's an anthem of authority, and the best part is that last verse when it goes, just up in glory land will live eternally. I mean, it's like people hear that, go, what is he saying? What? You know, it's like Whoopi Goldberg in the movie Jumping Jack Flash, when she's trying to figure out the words to Jumping Jack Flash. It's like, I was raised by, what, 2 bearded lesbians? And I'm so glad this song is getting attention. It totally deserves the attention. It sounds like so much like what I wanted that record to sound like, and I think it's a masterpiece. If I didn't do it myself, I'd say it was this whole record is like one of the best records I've ever heard. But since I did it myself, I will humbly say this is one of the best records I've ever heard. And the next song, Majestic Solid Rock. Wow. There was not a better worship song on a Paisley Yankolovich record, and I didn't write the words. So I did write the music and tweak the words, but once again, my dear Leah McGilvery wrote the words. She wrote, there's hope and human love and liberty and spirit of the age and these children, and she wrote these words, and she doesn't even remember it. I've showed them to her. She goes, I don't even remember when I wrote those or when I sent them to you, but I just archived them and pulled them up one day and read them and just loved them and put them on the record. And it's just talking about the enormity of God. Just to be able to say that in a sentence. I do a song about the enormity of God, makes me feel so puffed up. I go, wow, I'm amazing that I was able to capture that in song. And that's honestly how I feel when I perform the song. I always go, wow, this song is enormous, it's huge, you know. And there's a great line in it where it says, I just can't wait to hear Jesus sing. Leah hates the song. What do you do with that? What do you do?